Hello and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Jurnee Taylor and here are some of the stories we're following for you now at noon. Today, the government wants answers following the collapse of two major U.S. banks. What we know right now in less than 1 minute. A new report shows how Americans are being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. More on the conversation you need to have with your healthcare provider just ahead.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that's struggled with a lack of diversity. I'm Michael George with a program helping people of color start a career making video games.
Let's also check in with meteorologist Nathan Scott. Nathan, not a bad Wednesday at all. Still a bit chilly, but the sun is still out, and I love that.
Good afternoon, Jurnee. We are seeing temperatures already warming up to what we saw highs yesterday, closing in on 50 degrees in many locations. It's 50 in the capital city, 48 in Stuttgart, and it's also 50 in Hot Springs. But the clouds are moving in from Oklahoma, and that is in advance of our next storm system. The winds will switch over to the south-southeast, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, so that's going to help the temperatures warm up into the upper 50s to lower 60s this afternoon with increasing clouds. However, tomorrow we've got showers and storms in the forecast, and here's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center now. You got to stay weather aware for Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening. You see the bullseye is over the Red River Valley and southwest Arkansas. That's where the highest potential there could be some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms going throughout the day on Thursday. That chance of severe weather really drops off once you get into central Arkansas. I'll have more on the timing of these storms and what the main threats from these storms could be coming up.
With SVB now operating as a bridge bank with new leadership and all deposits fully backed by the federal government, its former top brass face increasing scrutiny. CBS News confirms the Justice Department launched an investigation Tuesday, while the Wall Street Journal reports the SEC also began a probe into the former Silicon Valley Golden Child's collapse. According to the Journal, stock sales last month made by SVB's former chief executive officer and chief financial officer will be examined closely. Former CEO Greg Becker has not spoken publicly since the collapse, but addressed his employees Friday.
I care so much about all of you. It really is just so incredibly difficult.
Becker sold more than $3 million worth of his shares in the company, fewer than 2 weeks before his house of cards fell. The transaction was scheduled a month in advance and does not necessarily suggest wrongdoing.
I expected the SEC and DOJ to be coming in.
Jacob Frankel, a former SEC enforcement lawyer, says the investigation into potential insider trading is of most interest to him.
What they're going to look at is, what did the CEO know when he established the plan? And was there any modification to the plan?
Still in shock, Melanie Travis tells CBS News she only got access to her business's millions of dollars yesterday. She says her luxury swimwear business will likely lose money as a result of the chaos.
Even though it's there, it's moving very slowly. And so we have a list of all of our suppliers, and we're just calling every single one to say, we're not going to be able to pay our bill.
Errol Barnett, CBS News.
But what about the people here in Arkansas? Banks here say the collapse is not something to overreact to. Heads of Simmons Bank and First Arkansas Bank and Trust both are urging people to stay calm. They say your money is safe and that collapses of banks in California and in New York are likely isolated incidents. While it may be tempting to pull your money out for hiding underneath the mattress, officials say it's safer to keep it in the bank. In other news, the Federal Aviation Administration is holding an airline safety summit today following a string of close calls at U.S. airports. Yesterday, we learned about yet another near collision, the 7th in recent months. At Washington's Reagan National Airport last week, an American Eagle jet taxied across a runway where a United Airlines plane had just been cleared to take off. Investigators say it appears that the pilot of the American Eagle jet made a wrong turn. And it may seem like an odd crime in the digital age, but police say thieves are stealing people's mail. It's a problem we've even reported on here in Central Arkansas. This afternoon, Wendy Gillette explains why we're seeing this spike.
Very stressful.
Dottie and Charlie Layton recently wrote a $37 check to pay their power bill and dropped it in the same Boston area blue mailbox they've used for years. But days later, the bank called and said someone was trying to cash that same check, now with an amount of nearly $10,000.
They could empty a whole bank account out. We have quite a bit in the checking account.
The Laytons were caught in a wave of mail thefts, with thieves stealing checks from mailboxes outside of homes, apartment buildings, and those blue boxes.
Authorities say sometimes criminals have homemade devices to reach into the slot and fish mail out. In other cases, they use a stolen master key known as an arrow key to unlock it.
Last year, police near Chicago released video of a man opening a blue box and taking all of the mail.
Once they have the arrow keys, they have access to hundreds of mailboxes.
David Maimon is a professor of criminology at Georgia State University and has been tracking criminal groups that wade through stolen mail to find checks.
They look for IRS checks, they look for personal checks, they look for business checks.
Fraudsters can use chemicals to remove the original writing, then write in a new name and amount on the check. More sophisticated criminals go a step further.
Once you have the check, you essentially have the entire information you need in order to manufacture more and more checks.
Authorities in several parts of the country are asking people to drop mail inside the post office instead of in a blue box. The Layton's new strategy is to circumvent the mail.
We're going to pay as much as we can online.
The couple plans to stop using paper checks to avoid becoming victims again. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
It's absolutely crazy. Well, authorities say people should not leave checks in their home mailboxes. And the Better Business Bureau advises people who write checks to buy a pen with enduring black ink, which is very difficult to wash off. We're also following breaking news this afternoon. A Little Rock man now facing capital murder charges in the death of his child. 30-year-old Demetric Green Jr. is accused of violently shaking the infant, which led to his death. Officers responded to Arkansas Children's Hospital on Friday afternoon to investigate the infant's injury. They determined the injuries to be consistent with trauma, and Green was taken into custody. Now, he was originally charged with first-degree battery, but those charges have now been upgraded following the child's death Sunday morning. We will continue to follow this story for you. Now to a THV 11 update on a story we've been following for several weeks, a lawsuit against Summit Utilities over those outrageously high bills. The last few months is now headed to federal court. On Tuesday, the natural gas provider asked a federal judge to take over the lawsuit, alleging price gouging, which it denies. The lawsuit was originally filed in Pulaski County. So far, there is no judge assigned to hear it, and no hearings are scheduled. But it appears the temporary restraining order issued Monday will remain in effect. Now, for the next 2 weeks, customers do not have to pay their gas bill, and the utility company cannot disconnect services. Well, most viewed on THV11.com, the Arkansas Department of Transportation is once again clearing out homeless camps near interstates to clear up right-of-way areas. But they're not the only ones. THV11's Ashley Godwin shows us what's happening and how local organizations are trying to help those displaced.
That really does set them even farther back into raising themselves up.
On Monday, RDOT cleared several homeless camps around central Arkansas interstates, saying they needed to clean up right-of-way areas. We are told they gave a week's notice to people in the area, but Caleb Alexander McKenzie, a volunteer with the van, says those notices may not be seen by everyone in the camps.
But these folks may have been in the hospital for a week. They may have gotten in a hotel for a week. They may not have been back to that site. They may have no idea this is happening.
If that's the case, McKenzie says some crucial and necessary items may be lost.
Replace the hygiene items, the clothes, the tents, the tarps, things like that that they need for survival. But the things that we can't replace are things like medications. It's things like documents, birth certificates, Social Security documents.
And with overcrowded shelters at the moment, there's little to no options for where a person should go next.
That's their question is, well, where do I go? And we can't provide them an answer.
While there aren't many solutions right now, there are several on the way. Pulaski County and Little Rock are creating tiny home villages that will house hundreds of people in a safe environment. The Salvation Army is hoping to expand with building a new shelter that will add more beds.
It's not a panacea. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but it is going to help a lot of people.
Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
And you can help right now. The van takes donations and delivers them weekly to people in need. The weather this week is allowing for some crucial fire prevention. A controlled ban is planned near the Hot Springs Mountain Tower today. It comes one day after a separate control ban burn in North Little Rock. The one happening today is on Hot Springs Mountain. That's within the national park and near the famous Hot Springs Mountain Tower, which will be closed today. Park staff will also be closing some roads and trails in the area. The National Park Service says the burns will help wildlife and prevent any potential uncontrolled wildfires in the future. Also happening today, the Little Rock School District's annual food drive is to help combat childhood hunger. Okay. From now until 1 p.m., you can help stock the LRSD pantries by bringing items directly to the schools. According to the district, nearly 80% of students in the district receive free or reduced lunches. For more details, like a list of participating schools and what they need most, you can check out this on our website at thv11.com. We're also going to have more on the drive tonight at 5 and 6. We've heard since we were kids, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And earlier today, Pulaski County leaders highlighted children's nutrition. This morning, Pulaski County Judge Barry Hyde declared March as School Breakfast Month. He presented the proclamation to Arkansas Hunger Relief Alliance. The group has sponsored School Breakfast Month each year since 2010. Love that. Well, still ahead, a new report sheds light on the community now most affected by a rise in Alzheimer's cases. That and more health news in just 6 minutes. Nathan, what are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing lots of blue sky with some high clouds filtering out that sunshine. You'll need the sunglasses this afternoon, but you'll be trading in those sunglasses for the rain gear and umbrellas tomorrow. Scattered showers and storms make their way back to the forecast, and some could be on the strong side. More on those details coming up.